Hi guys, my name is James and welcome to another Eurovision reaction video. And today I'm going to take a look at the 26 competing songs in this year's grand final of the 65th Eurovision Song Contest 2021, which will take place in a few hours live at the Ahoy Arena in the city of Rotterdam, the Netherlands. So let's get to it and start reviewing. So I was able to catch the two semifinals at my own time. I was able to watch it live as it aired because the show happens at 3 a.m. I'm pretty much still asleep by that time, so I was able to catch up later in the day. And I have a lot to say to all the songs that took part in the contest this year. But in this case, I'm going to air my comments about the 26 competing entries, or 20 of them having qualified from their respective semifinals, plus the host countries and those of the Big Five nations who are taking part in the grand final automatically. Now, I actually wrote some notes and I hope you enjoy what I have to say based from those notes. Okay, so let's get to it and start reading off what I have to say. So the grand final opens with Cyprus with their entry El Diablo by Elena Tagrinu. I wrote that the song has beautiful and tight choreography, it's engaging, and everything's blood red. At one point, Elena looked like she was mopping the stage with her dress. And following Cyprus is Albania with Karma by Angela Peristeri. The performance has vestiges of Elena Correa's Fuego choreography. Angela managed to own the stage despite being alone for 3 minutes. There's a lot of smoke explosions, both digital and real, but all eyes are still drawn to her. Afterwards, it's Israel with Set Me Free by Eden Alena. It's what I've come to expect when it comes to Israeli Eurovision choreography. Despite that, Eden does a good job in commanding the stage and it's not overrun by her backup dancers. The whistling high note has to be flawless on the night to seal the deal. Performing fourth is Belgium and their entry, The Wrong Place by Hooverphonic. It's a surprising but welcome qualification, seeing Belgium going through to the final from their semifinal. The performance oozes of classiness and timelessness. Gaiti makes sure she shines despite the darkness that surrounds her, also with a lot of tight shots around Hooverphonic. The entire performance looked like it's set in MTV Unplugged studio, which is probably the vibe that they were going for, and I love it for it. Manisha and Russian Woman then pose suit, and all I have to say is that everything is enhanced here from the national selection performance. Manisha entering the stage dressed in a mobile Russian doll costume made from the fabric of every region in the country looks very cookie cutter, but things get really serious once she gets out of it and chants along with her backing singers to summon the spirits of all the Russian women that we eventually get to see displayed on the LED backdrop. Afterwards, it's Malta with Je me casse by Destiny. The bridge heading to the final third of the song is probably the highlight of the entire performance for me, and it could win a lot of votes from jurors and televoters. It may as well be a Eurovision winning moment too. So, those were my thoughts about it. Performing 7th on the night is Portugal's The Black Mamba and their song Love Is On My Side. Now, I already have said a lot of good things about this, but watching their semifinal performance, it was very tear-jerking with a staging that is similar to the one TBM had from Festival da Canção, but with an expanded approach. They make use of the backdrop and other elements of the Rotterdam stage to properly convey through visual images the story behind the song, which adds to the audience investment to the emotional story of the song's subject. Afterwards, from getting emotional with Portugal, we get some high-flying kicks from Serbia's Hurricane and Loco Loco. It is a fantastic performance. There's a lot of smoke, there's a lot of wind. Sanya, Ivana, Senya command the stage without any native props and dancers to prop them up. We then move on with the UK's James Newman and his song Embers. From the clip I've seen, I'm a bit worried with James' vocals on the night, but hopefully he'll be at his top form by then, considering he has a really good singing voice when he performed an acoustic take on Embers. So I'm really hoping for a good result coming from the UK this year. If not, at least he tried his best, and I hope the UK doesn't stop trying. Greece performs 10th on the night with The Last Dance by Stefania Librekakis. Now, I'm a bit disappointed with how the performance turned out. The staging was a bit ambitious, but I thought there's a disconnect with it and the song. I was expecting something more akin to the song's 80s themes. Stefania, though, was the saving grace of the whole thing, as she delivered a really pitch-perfect performance regardless of what I thought of the underwhelming stagings that was given to her. Now we get to Switzerland with To Univa by John Steers. People had mixed reactions with John Steers' staging during rehearsals. I didn't see it, but I have heard that there was some choreography involved. Upon seeing it on the night of its semi, however, I was really blown away because with the way it was directed, everything made sense, especially looking at the actual story that was happening, that was unfolding through this performance. So yeah, it's a possible winner for me. I really hope for a good result coming for Switzerland. Performing 12 on the night is Iceland's Daddy of Gagnamagin and their song 10 Years. I was very sad learning that because of circumstances beyond their control, the band were not able to perform live during the semi, and most likely again in the grand final. However, the performance taken from rehearsal footage was already at such a high quality, you won't really notice anything off from it all, except for the Ahoy worker walking somewhere at the exposed green room floor. And performing at numero 13 is Spain with the song Voy a Quedarme by Blas Canto. Based on the clip shown during the semis, I can wholly expect Blas to deliver another emotional performance. I was pretty surprised that they have an inflated moon prop that is reportedly 6 meters long, but looks amazingly lifelike, as if it was rendered digitally and as if they were displayed in augmented reality. So I'm really hoping for the best for Spain as well, hopefully rising above 20th place in the grand final. Following Spain is Moldova with Sugar by Natalia Kotenko. Now, I'm extremely disappointed at how Sugar's performance turned out. I was expecting a trip to Candleland given the theme, and of course the title of the song is indeed Sugar. But what we ended up having is a nearly hollow stage with Natalia and just her backup dancers, the backdrop displaying a moving wireframe and nothing else. Natalia sounded great, but I expected more from Moldova given how they usually deliver with the cabiness factor of their usually capped entries. Germany then comes onto the stage with Jendrik's I Don't Feel Hate. The jury's still out whether I like what I saw from the minute-long preview of Jendrik's performance. Could be fun and energetic, but I'm ready to see the whole thing unfold in the grand final to have a proper read on what I think of it. So the jury's still out there, but I don't feel anything hateful about it. Just I'm very curious based on the clip that I saw. Now we get to the dark side by Blind Channel of Finland. It's basically a copy-pasted performance that they had from UMK, which is a good choice if you ask me. Not much different except for the altered choreography that is now more family hour friendly. It's a good way to prep us for what is to come later in the night. And after Finland is Bulgaria. And I do found it quite strange that producers would transition out the heavy and rockier song from Finland with a gentler and somber one from Bulgaria. But anyway, I like that they kept it simple, as has become a pattern in several acts already. Victoria is sitting and standing on a platform that looks like a moving glacier and giving a very emotional performance. I can see a potential Eurovision winning moment from here as well. Performing 18 on the night is Lithuania's The Roop with their song Discotheque. From gentle and somber to something dark and poppy, Lithuania also brought along their national final staging to Rotterdam. There's not much different from what I saw, but they now have the benefit of the expanded stage provided to them to play around, for which the Roop did during their semi. Now we move on to Ukraine and their entry Shum by Going. Ukraine's qualification streak is intact for another year, and for that I'm happy. Everything here is on point, although I think there are too many wide shots of the stage. I prefer the tighter shots of the men and their backup dancers and less of a focus on a front as visuals shown in the background. Nevertheless, I really enjoyed the entire performance and I felt like I was in a rave in a club that I usually don't go because I never been to a club. Well, I did once. But regardless, it's a very, really fun experience to be had, especially whenever Ukraine's song comes on. So yeah, I really wish them the best of luck. After Ukraine, we get France with Barbara Pravi's Voila. From the clips I've seen, it's not much different from her national selection performance, which is an advantage to them. There's not much that Barbara needs to do, but she only has to focus on herself and her performance and let everything around her play out by themselves. I expect nothing more but excellence, and hopefully this could be the one that would seal the deal for a top level finish, if not an outright Eurovision win. After France, Azerbaijan takes over with Efendi's Matahari. Now I have to be honest, it's probably one of the weaker finalists we have in the grand final this year, but I gotta say though that Efendi's dancing skill is a lot better now here than what was shown to us from the music video. I do think the sound mixing of the song's pre-recorded vocals is overwhelming her live vocals. I would prefer that she actually sing out the first Matahari lyric instead of a pre-recorded vocal, because at least that is to show that she doesn't have to rely on pre-recorded vocals all the time. Now after Azerbaijan, we get Norway with Tix and his song Fallen Angel. I find it quite a very sweet and heartwarming performance, and the performance itself is more or less copy-pasted from his Melody Grand Prix performance, but it was extremely altered for Eurovision. Not extremely, but rather they now have less dancers, and they also added a live backing vocal that is singing in support of Tix. Performing 23rd in the grand final is the host country, the Netherlands, with their song Birth of a New Age by Django McCrory. Now I'm ready for the emotional journey that I'm about to embark en route to Suriname, if the preview of Django's performance is any indication. After the Netherlands is Italy with Ziti e Buoni by Manskin. I'm a bit disappointed though that the show did highlight the middle section of the Ziti e Buoni, which involves Damiano rapping, because I thought that was the highlight of the entire thing. With that said, I'm ready to be surprised with what the band has in store in the final. I really expect a lot of pyro, a lot of shebang, and a lot of skin. Following Italy is Sweden, who is performing 25th on the night with Voices by Tus. Now, I'm a bit concerned over Tus's live vocals, knowing that he had just come back from surgery. I remember hearing some cracking when he was singing that last stretch of his song. I just hope he has rested long enough to be able to perform in top form. And we now cap the grand final with San Marino's Adrenalina by Zenit featuring Flo Rida. It's a perfect closer to the night. There's nothing much to say except that I really enjoyed Zenit's performance. I could do with and without Flo Rida's involvement, to be honest, but it is also a perfect redemption story for Zenit, having made a crack at the song contest nearly 10 years ago. And now everything is expecting San Marino to get their best ever placement in the history of their participation in the contest. So those are my thoughts. Let me know yours down in the comments below. Do you have a winner from this year's grand final of the Eurovision Song Contest? Please let me know down in the comments below. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more content coming along your way. This has been James. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Take care and stay safe. Bye! Paalam. Salamat po.